God.
Matt? Matt, are you okay, Matt? Are you?
Let's start the show.
All right, guys, and welcome to the Take 3 Reactors Summit. This week we'll be going over the great matches between DC Movie News and Team Action, and also the match between Stacy Howard and Josh Macuga, as well as the upcoming matches and any news that came out, which there's not much, so it'll be a quick show. Yeah, but we have a good panel, so that's good too. Malcolm, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just a nice, relaxing day in New Zealand, so all good to do this.
Perfect. We also have Mike Hanley. How's it going?
Doing great. Can't wait to talk about Team Action.
Perfect. And someone not affected at all by this week's matches, not at all, Matt Kearns. Are you okay? Will you survive?
Let's just freaking go. Let's just talk about action, you know?
All right, let's just freaking go. Let's just talk about action. We're also joined by my dogs who will be offering their commentary. Hopefully not at all. They can just be.
You mentioned your dog and you didn't mention me?
You're not on the panel.
Well, I'm here engineering. Just give me.
Abe is so picky. Abe is just like, I don't want to be on the show. I don't want to be on the show. You're mentioning a dog over me?
I'm just saying. Just keep going.
Abe's just like, I don't want to be on the show, but I better get mentioned.
You can cut out the part about my dogs. They're just being so cute.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Abe, you edit the show. You have total control, you realize.
I know, but let's keep going, please. I don't want to edit. I have finals next week.
Abe, maybe when it doesn't take you 3 tries to remember the name of a guy you've known for over a year, then maybe we'll mention you before the dog.
Okay.
Okay, Michael.
All right, so match 1 of this week was, of course, DC Movie News versus Team Action. I thought this was a great match. I think both teams really showed up. I mean, the winning score was almost 30 points. You don't get a lot of matches that go to 30 points or above. So, I mean, it's always a good showing if someone can get close to those higher ranks, especially in a 3-round situation. Like, those are good scores for 3 rounds. You also just had drama times a million. So we're going to get into all of that, but we'll start with, our recap of the match itself. So we're going to start it out with Mike. What were your thoughts on the match between DC Movie News and Team Action?
I loved it. I knew that Team Action was going to win, but I really enjoyed Mike during the match. His little looks that he would give throughout the match, him getting angrier and angrier as it was going along, and Team Action just playing off of it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that they played off each other so well, and you could kind of see, like, the longer the match went on, like, the more that Mike kind of, like, started, like, sinking into this pit of despair. And the Action guys were just eating it up, like, I don't know, what do people like to eat? A lot of potato chips, I guess. Probably not Team Action. They look pretty fit. But we're going to move on to Malcolm. What were your thoughts about this match? And was there anything that caught your eye during the actual match itself?
Yeah, no, this match was pretty straightforward. It was really good, high scoring, which is what I expected. And Mike shows on why he would completely dominate a James Bond Schmoedown, because by getting a perfect round with only doing multiple choice once, I believe, without any help from Adam, it was just so perfectly done. It's just no one else has probably done it. So.
Yeah, I mean, that was literally one of my only points about this match was just damn Mike Kalinowski with that Bond category. I know there are some heavy hitters in this Bond category. I know, Robert Meyer Burnett knows a lot of Bonds. You've also got Tim, the Tank Franco, who is incredibly knowledgeable about Bond. I would love to see a special Bond match, and I know that they've been kind of teasing at it on Twitter. But yes, if they do that, then I know who should be in the match. And Mike was very impressive during that Bond category. Last but not least, Matt, I feel bad for you. Because I know that your soul was torn in twain because of this match. But why don't you let us know what you thought about the match itself?
It was a great match for action. They killed it. This was a returning match, and I think kind of shut up a lot of the haters and the naysayers of, oh, well, Guy hasn't competed, and he sucked in free-for-all, and Bateman sucks because all he cares about is his briefcase and all that. It kind of shut up the haters. I mean, like you said, they scored almost like 30 points in 3 rounds. They're going to kill at the live event. They're just going to continue this. I think they have a runner's high. And, yeah, the Bond category was good. It was a good match for DC Movie News to go out on, I guess. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But overall, go action.
Yeah, and talking about DC Movie News, 26 points is a very, very good score. Like, let's not pretend like they played terribly. Like, it's very hard to get to 30 points or almost 30 points in a 3-round game because normally you would have KO'd your opponent at that point. And so to get to that, the other team had to also have played very well. And I mean, they did. They both, showed up. They got questions right, especially in that round 2. But I mean, Mike, on that round 3 question, I knew the answer as well, by the way. I'm just saying. It wasn't that special. It actually was kind of a deep cut, but it was very impressive the way that he answered that question in round 3. But that last question from Team Action in round 3, where I am like in between them actually having known the answer right away and just being dicks and like playing it out and making them think that they had won. Poor DC Movie News, I think, legitimately thought that they had gotten the wrong answer. I mean, I am so torn about this. Mike, you're kind of the resident. Well, Matt and Mike, what? I guess you guys are both like resident action fans.
I took offense to that.
I'm sorry. I'm very concerned about you, Matt, and I don't want you to feel like you have to pull yourself in 2 directions because you also support Mike. But between you guys as the resident action fans, what was your take on that? Do you think that was all them playing up the shtick, or did they actually not know the answer to that? Because I'm really kind of curious about what you guys think. So, Mike, why don't you go first?
The first time watching it, I had a feeling that they didn't know, but the second time, looking at especially Guy's face, 100% they knew the answer. They were just messing with him. They saw how pumped Mike was, and they wanted to put up a show, and they did.
All right. I mean, I kind of agree with you, but then I'm also just like, who the heck even knows with these guys? They're such good actors, and they do this job of being the league's heel so well. Matt, what was your take on that?
Here's the thing. In the last year, having become very friendly with Penn and Drew off camera, I can't really tell. Because they honestly, I was talking to them earlier in the week about, because Action, if you guys haven't paid attention, this is kind of a new and improved version of Action. Andrew Guy is pretty much just a dastardly dick. And Ben has brought the boss persona from singles into teams. So I wouldn't put it past them that they knew the answer, and they were... I mean, just go back to Top 10 versus Action 1 when Ben gets the Green Goblin question. He's literally just like, I don't really know. I have to kind of sit here and think about it for a second. Like, they really... I agree with Mike that I think they saw how Mike wanted to win this, and I think they were kind of like, yeah, we know this. Let's drag it out for as long as they savor the disappointment and of others. It's sad to say, but I'm gonna say that they knew the answer and they were just playing the long game on that one.
Yeah, they truly are dastardly Like they really do a good job.
They're dastardly doing.
I mean, and I did give them the edge in this match, and so I'm not too surprised that they won. I think that they've been on a bit of a hot streak, but I did feel really terribly for DC Movie News. We're going to prolong the torture of talking about this because I do want to mention something that I've been noticing a lot, not only on the Schmoedown videos, but also the Collider videos in general. They've been getting a lot of new sponsors, and this one's actually sponsored by a movie, and it looked kind of funny. It looked a little bit like Kung Fury, which was like a really funny kind of spoofy action Kung Fu Viking cyberpunk movie that came out a couple years ago on I think Netflix, or did it come out on YouTube first? I can't remember, but it looked kind of fun. But I just thought it was cool to see all the new sponsors that are coming in now that they're kind of out of the shell of Complex. You know, they're attracting a lot of good sponsors. So I hope that that continues, because that does help to increase the, you know, the actual product that we're getting. So I just wanted to mention that as well during this match. And of course, there's only one thing really left to talk about, and it is Superman has gone to the dark side. He has turned away from the light side of the Force. He's gone rogue. I mean, Mike has turned full heel. So thank you, Dan and Lilia, for that. But his progression into madness, I think, has been very interesting to track, because you can kind of see where some of it might have come from. And I think that it's really interesting that someone who is kind of the like pinnacle of justice in the Schmoedown, has really just taken this dark turn. So we're gonna go, Matt, you just know I'm gonna go to you last, because I want to make you suffer the most. So Malcolm, we're gonna go to you first. And what did you think about this heel turn and everything that happened? So this includes all that stuff that happened. I mean, you can even talk about during the match, before the match, the post-match interviews. I mean, he was showing the signs of this all the way from the first second he was on the camera. So what was your take on this heel turn that Mike had?
Yeah, no, there was like from the start of this match, there was like as I said last week, I think something's going to happen that either Mike before the match is going to say, I don't want to team feud, find somebody else to take my place and all that, which didn't happen. But I was like, there's so many hints, like him taking his time to put his fists in the post, the pre-match interviews to unite the league, and all the various looks, and just at the end he was just simmering away, not saying anything. It was like, yeah, he's going to explode any minute, and explode as he did. It's like, and I mean, it's going to lead into what we're going to talk about next in the next match as well. It's like it doesn't just extend to the league as well. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, whether he joins Four Horsemen or whether he actually decides to join Team Action. I could possibly see that happening. I don't know if he would or not, or if Team Action will accept him, but it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here.
Yeah, interesting that you brought up the Horseman initiative. It's been kind of going around on Twitter between Mike and Roca, him maybe joining the Horsemen. I don't know that they would be that obvious. Roca is entirely about the theatrics, and so I don't know that he would ever come out and just be like, yes, Mike is going to be one of them, without making it some like big giant, I don't know, some big thing, right? Like he would like pull all the stops out for that kind of thing. So I'm not sure that I'm entirely buying into this. I think it's a really good ploy, and it's a very good smoke screen is what it is. But I could be wrong, and they could be just trying to fool people like me who overanalyze everything. So Mike, you have the namesake of this individual that we're talking about, and do you share some like deep inner connection to other Mikes? I don't know. I'm just assuming you do. have a lot of friends who are Christians, so we all share a deep interconnection. But this heel turn that Mike Kalinowski had, what was your take on it? And was there anything in particular that you think is going to happen now that this has happened?
I'm absolutely loving his turn. From the pre-match of Roxy coming in and just seeing his face when she comes in, to during the match where he's just getting more and more irritated. He's strutting back and forth. He just wants the match to be done, either winning it, losing it. I think he just wanted it done so he can get to post-match where he decides to screw them all. And he doesn't care about, they weren't there for him, so why should he care? And I kind of agree with you with the Four Horsemen thing. At first I thought, okay, yeah, it seems like he's going straight for the Four Horsemen, but I agree that I think they're making it so obvious because they know everybody is wanting it. So they're trying to push people further to think this is going to happen, and they're going to pull the wool over our eyes, and either he's going to stay by himself or he's joining up with someone else.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I definitely agree with you. I think that he's probably joining someone else, and he's just kind of like laying the seeds out there to get us all kind of speculating. And he's keeping himself in the news, honestly. Like, he's keeping himself in the forefront of everyone's mind by continuously kind of being like, hey, I could join them, which is very smart because we do actually want to see the continuation of this storyline. Matt, last but not least, good sir, I know that this is a weird thing for you because you obviously supported Mike because he was a good heel. Or he was a good face, right? You didn't support him because he was a good heel, obviously. But what are you going to do now that he's made this transition? Are you jumping off the bandwagon or are you going to stay on?
Here's the thing, Kristen. You, when you first started and talked about this post-match, you said something. You said Superman turned bad or whatever you said, and I'm going to argue with that because you know who really is Superman? Mark Riley. You know who's not an SOB, who turned on the league and on Brienne and all these people? Mark Riley. I looked up to you, man. I dressed like you. I wanted to be you. And then you go out and you do this? I mean, come on, man. Who do you think you are? You think you're Roka? Huh? You think you're Roka playing heel over there or something? Huh? What? I just, when Riley retired, I went, that sucks, but I got Mike. Mike's the hero of the Schmoedown. He's gonna break all the heels. He's gonna take them, and he's gonna run it. And you know what, Mike? Yeah, the triple threat at the beginning of the season was hard, and it was a hard loss. But you know what? I stood by you, okay? And yeah, you had some losses. Yeah, you lost to Clark. When you sit there and you say that no one at Collider, except for this one unnamed person who, apparently is such good support, you're going to keep him in the shadows when room for you. Did you watch Take 3's reaction? Because you know who was room for you? This guy. This guy right here, okay? Did you watch a free-for-all when you came out? You know who was rooting for you? This guy right here, okay? When you lost because of Puddin' and Intergeekdom, you know who still said you were going to be Intergeekdom champ? This guy. When you lost to Rachel Cushing and everyone said he's 0-2, his time's done. Yeah, I still said you could beat Inman, whatever. I don't even care right now. And then you go and you do this. I mean, who do you think you are? Huh? Who do you think you are? Anakin Skywalker? Huh? You think you just pull heel turns like this and everyone's gonna love it? Well, guess what? They're not. Now, I'm not saying I'm jumping off any bandwagon, but I'm just saying this, man. I hope you see this, and I hope you reconsider this idiotic move. Because if the Schmoedown has shown you anything, heels don't win belts. Heroes like Mark Riley win belts.
All right. Well, that was something. I look forward to Matt still rooting for Mike in his future matches. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm like Belle and Beauty and the Beast. I got Stockholm syndrome at this point.
Let's. That's awkward. Well, my take on this is that, you know, I do think that there was a bit of a progression. It wasn't very obvious. Like when Rocco was turning face, I felt like that was very obvious to me. Just some of the things he was doing, like he made up with Mance, that kind of thing. He like just felt more natural. This, I think, was a little more subtle, and it kind of came on very slowly. And so it's, you know, him rooting for heels during matches, little things like that that aren't normal for a face to be doing. But I think that it's really interesting, and I'm really kind of loving it, but I also feel super devastated for Adam. He looked so sad at the end of his interview, and I just wanted to give him a hug. I felt so bad.
I do have one other thing I want to say. I want Abe, make sure the camera is, you know, right here. Thanks, Dan and Leah. I hope you're happy. I hope you're really pleased. I hope you two are sitting there with your Macuga kegs and your fingers up and your nose is up and you're just laughing. Ha 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 ha. I really hope that my depression is pleasing to you.
I'm pretty sure it is. Honestly, I find it funny, so I'm sure they do as well.
What?
Let's just give them credit where credit is due. They called this thing in like the second episode of their show, and we may or may not get something with them. If we do, it will go right here.
If not,
cool.
You just
Dan
have more
and
video.
Aaliyah, or we didn't get something with Dan and Aaliyah, and that'll just be a really weird me pointing at the camera thing. It's fine. But you know, I think that just the way that they kind of were talking about this really early on as a bit of a joke, but it turned into this like almost a movement. And now it's a reality, so it's just like things that fans can do that actually impact the Schmoedown is just really interesting to me.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm,
yeah. But we are going to continue this discussion about Mike because we actually have to go to the next match, which kind of begins with more Mike. But before we talk about that, our very own Nat Kearns cried during an interview with Mike, and we're going to go to it right now.
Guys, thank you, Kristen, so much. So, guys, we are here with Mike K.O. Kalinowski. We're going to go over his match with Team Action and DC Movie News. So, Mike, I guess the first question, well, the first thing on people's, you know, I'm not doing this. Who do you think you are? Who you think you're Hayden Christensen? You think you're gonna get a special edition or something? Who you turn your back on the league? Like they're not there for you for like one match. Come on, man. And
hold on. Hey, let me stop you right there.
Okay.
Let me stop you right there. Did you watch the match?
Yes.
Not even that. You watched not even that match. You watched the match before.
Yes.
You talk about the league. You talk about the league. Was the league there in any of those matches? No, they weren't.
No.
They weren't there for matches. They weren't there, and they weren't there at the three-way. They weren't there with me against Clark, which is a big match. Roxy, Johnny, Adam, no one.
Okay.
Brienne, no one was there. Continue.
Okay. All right. You knew Brienne had a family thing, so you're trying to say that Schmoedown is more important than family? Is that what you're really trying to tell me?
All I'm saying is priorities.
Oh,
priorities.
Okay. Priorities. Okay.
For kids, what?
You have
5,
to
6
watch
years old,
the...
still have. Hey, let me stop you right there.
Okay.
She's got a kid. She'll have many more concerts she can go to. But hey, let's disregard what I did for her. Let's just disregard that. I had stuff going on, but I showed up there for her. But that's neither here nor there. What were you saying? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Do you happen to watch reactions at all? Huh? Did you happen to see me rooting for you, or does that not matter because we're not there? The fans don't really matter when you're Mr. KO, right?
Let me stop you right there again. The fans, it's a joke, and that's what I've come to realize. I got a group of fans. I got a couple of them that stick with me, but some of them, they only like me when I win. And when you start losing, and I've seen it happen before, and I'm going to see it happening at a lot of these fans. Like JT, I feel so bad for that guy right now because he had fans. They're going to drop him. You know, Action. after they had their loss after the tournament, you saw how many times no one was talking about Action anymore. But now they like him again because Action's winning again. Fans come and go. So I'm done trying to please the fans. That's all I ever tried to do. Try to work them to be the nice guy. And seeing that match against Clark Wolf, not even just fans, my friends in the Schmoedown competitors that I saw cheering for Clark Wolf, who have been cheering for me forever. So I don't do it for them anymore.
Oh, okay. I just want to let you know, just a little thing. You can watch the reactions. You know who was rooting for you when you were losing? This is this guy right here, okay? DC Movie News. They were still my number 3 team. I was still talking about you. I still say you were 0-2 in
your number 3 team. We could have been a number 1 team. We could have been a number 1 team, but we weren't, were we?
No.
I did my part.
Okay.
That's all I did my part.
How would you feel after Mark Riley retired? You were my favorite competitor. I stood by you.
So after someone retired, that's when I kind of moved up there.
So Mike, so what you're telling me,
enough.
if you're not everyone's ultimate favorite, then they're nothing to you, man. You know what? You're not gonna get anywhere by that. I don't even. This interview is over.
Talk to me. Don't sit there and stammer and stammer to me. All right, if you're gonna say something, say something.
You know what? I'm gonna. You know what? There's someone else here at Take 3 who. They'll continue this interview, all right?
Oh, okay.
Just let me go and get them, all right?
Let me waste more of my evening doing this.
Okay, all right. I'm recording, so Malcolm, take it away.
Yep. I don't know where Matt's gone, so I guess it's down to me to do the interview. So, Mike, how did it feel going into this match against Team Action?
Well, to be honest with you, I was in a good headspace. I was ready to go. I had my teammate back. Everyone was there for us. So I figured, it's coming off the loss of Clark, but it was a great loss, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
So I was ready to go. I was ready to play. I wanted Team Action for a year now. Ever since they started shooting off their mouths a year ago, before the Action train took off, I wanted those guys. But it just was not in the cards. So I was ready to face them as best I could. So I was ready to go. I couldn't speak for my teammate, but I was ready to go.
Do you think Team Action got into your head at any point of the match with anything?
Not at all. Not at all. Let me tell you something. They're a couple of clowns. They got their gimmicks. They got their briefcase. Ben is the quiet guy. Guy jumps off his back and runs around like one of those monkeys with the cymbals. And he's like, Team Action, Team Action. That's all he does. That to lesser players, maybe that'll mess them. It doesn't mess with me at all. I could care less what they do. But that's a strategy that they got. They like getting under some of their players' skins, so that's what they do.
You spun James Bond in round 2, and you totally killed it. Was that a good confidence booster for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were down going into that second round. I was okay with my round 1. That Alan Rickman question was the only one that I bummed on, and I thought Courage Under Fire was in the 2000s, so I didn't say it. But with Bond, Bond is a sore subject for me because I'm still upset at the fact that it's taken out of Inner Geekdom. One competitor in particular, a favorite of everybody's, pitched a fit about it. Christian bowed down and took it out. But now we have Back to the Future and Indiana Jones, which is like, okay, but Bond won't be in there. A franchise spanning 50 years with 24 movies. Okay, fine, because there's maybe myself, Robert Meyer Burnett, and Tim Franco that can do Bond. But we spun it finally. It was in our favor. I was upset that I didn't get the first one. I had to go to multiple choice, but I didn't want to screw it up. So.
Yeah, I'm totally on your side about James Bond not being in the game. It really should.
Yeah.
But now you left a lot of fans crying when you turned on the league. So why did you turn?
Let me ask you guys this. Everyone's listening. You upset at me. A lot of people. I had one guy call me a piece of shit. Where were they for my career? The league. We struggled forever. It's kind of like maybe Ben Bateman needs to start taking a page from my book and dropping the dead weight. I'm just saying. Maybe Ben Bateman really wants a real partner. Maybe now's the time. Maybe you should switch that up and stop having to carry matches. That's what I felt like. I give my all. I want to win, but if half of a team's not going to win, what can I do?
I totally agree with you there.
There you go.
So what's next for you? What do you have your size sets on?
I'm restarting over everything. I've always wanted, I'm going to take one area at a time. I'm going to focus on Inner Geekdom right now. It's going to be finally, I'm going to be back in. For some reason, they're finally letting me back in after, you're getting all these new people that don't know the difference between Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. I don't know if he's trying to build the league, but I'm trying to watch these 5 ways, and I'm, rolling in my grave over here at these people that don't know who directed Deadpool, and, so I'm like, whatever. So finally they're getting me in there. They got a match, and my record's 0-2. So I'm sure they're going to stick me with someone. They're going to some sacrificial lamb that they're going to throw up against me that they think they can beat me with. So I'm going to do that first. But there's a lot of crap wrong with the league. I think there's a lot, and I don't mean the league. Whenever I say the league, I don't mean my league. That's done and buried. I mean the Schmoedown League in itself. Maybe Dagnito's got a point. Maybe we need to change this up because something's not right. It's not working. Certain competitors are throwing down certain people's throats, and some of the fans just lap it up. But there's others out there. There's smart people out there that they see that what needs to be there. So I think there's a change. I'm going to be the voice of change in this league coming forward.
So that's all the questions I've got. Thanks for your time. Where can people find you online?
At Mike Kalinowski. I'm on Twitter. That's my handle there. I'm sure people want to tweet me out there saying I'm a piece of shit. Fine, go ahead. I had some fans, and I did it for the fans a long time. But after this thing, and it's not being bitter. I'm not bitter. We lost. We lost what it is. I know where my record stands. I don't need people throwing it at my face. So, I just told people, I was like, first of all, my next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to that live event. We've got team easy 5-point versus team shove down your throats. They're both gonna choke. Someone's gonna choke up, and it'll be a great debacle to watch. I've got a lot of stakes in that because it's action, and it should have been us in there, and Clark's in there. And I should have facing, she had her shot at the number 1 contender match. She blew it against Sam. So, people get the chances by beating me and they blow it. So this will be a nice little thing to look at and watch. But to anyone else that's watching, just buckle up because there's some big things coming. This league's going to, whether I burn it down or change it up, we're going to see.
Yeah. Famous last words. Back to you there, Christian.
All right. Matt and Mike and surprise guest, whoever you may be. I haven't seen the interview yet. I'm an unprepared host. However, thank you for being a surprise guest. And we do want to move on to our discussion of that first cutscene. So this is Mike and Brienne, and this is, everyone was kind of wondering, are they going to be a team? Are they going to be, whatever? And they kind of teased that there was going to be a match, but it wasn't necessarily going to be a team match with them being a team. Is that match still happening? Because now it seems like they're enemies in a sense. And I just want to hear everyone's take on this cutscene because, man, this thing was devastating. Mike is cutting me real deep this week. All right, Matt, what were your thoughts on this cutscene between Brienne and Mike?
Just, man, are you trying to get on Kathleen Kennedy's good side and replace Hayden Christensen in the special edition of Revenge of the Sith? She's doing a pretty good job. Brienne was at a family function. She said as much, and you're just gonna sit there and say Schmoedown over family? I mean, come on, man. Who do you think you are? That's actually what I'm gonna say here. Who do you think you are, man? Leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple people in the Schmoedown that you really just shouldn't mess with, and I feel like Brienne is becoming one of those people. She's kind of like the unofficial queen of the Schmoedown at this point, or official. I mean, she runs a Patreon. I'm gonna say it's official at this point. I feel like it's pretty official. I mean, she should just get a tiara already. But Mike, what did you think about this cutscene?
I think that it's just another way of showing us that it's not going to go the way a lot of people were thinking. Meaning that a lot of people thought that her and Mike were going to end up joining the Four Horsemen. After this conversation that Mike had with her, I highly doubt that's happening anymore. I think Mike, like he said in the end of the last match, he's in his league of his own. I think he's going to be going solo, or there's someone helping him along the way that we will soon see. But I feel bad for Brienne, how she had to deal with that, because that wasn't her fault. The league, I can understand because they weren't showing up for him. But Brienne, she's dealing with her contracts. She's dealing with her own stuff. But Mike, he's putting that full heel on, and he's doing very well with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that I don't think people were kind of expecting, because you would expect that he would have gone and been like, okay, let's be heels together now, Brienne. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I think maybe Brienne is maybe not going to be a heel in her next match, whenever that may be. I would assume her next match is a title shot, but we'll see what Brienne shows up at that point. But it does kind of seem a little bit like Mike's, I mean, he's taking a real dark road here. Malcolm, what did you think about the scene between Mike and Brienne?
Yeah, this scene was so heartbreaking. It's like Brienne going in and trying her best to talk to Mike and try and find out where his head's at, is saying that when she split from 6 Degrees, he was there for her, so and she thought she would be there for him. Is like just watching her try to see, and then Mike just not having a bar of it and walking out. I mean, like when she split from 6 Degrees and joined up for Mike, like lots of people say like they're both going to go heel, is like, and eventually it's like, I did not think like they wouldn't have Brienne go from heel, split from 6 Degrees and keep her heel. I thought, I instantly knew she was probably going to go face and go back to being a good person. It's like, I mean, you don't go from being, like in wrestling, you don't go from being heel to being another heel. You go from being heel to face. Then maybe later on, if you want, you can go back to heel. But it's like, I want to see some face brand again, which we're obviously going to be getting, and I'd like probably going to see. We're probably going to see a match between Mike and Brienne at some stage now.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good guess. When Brienne did leave her team of 6 Degrees, I mean, I thought that was a pretty heel move. So I was pretty sure she was staying heel. And I thought that maybe her and Mike would team up and be the first kind of like official like heel team. And I thought that was a really interesting dynamic. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But it's okay because we have Roka Nost, who are apparently their Nost really, he just likes smack talking people. I feel like he's a heel still, even though they're technically faces.
Anti-heroes. They're anti-heroes.
They're like halfway in between. I feel like Nost is like on the other side of the line, and Roka's on this side of the line, and so I feel like they're technically like our team.
They're like the Daredevil of the Schmoedown. They are heroes, but they do a lot of dark stuff.
Yeah, can we use a good movie?
They have an A.
What?
Snake Plissken.
I was talking about the character.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
2, the Netflix
They're like the Punisher of...
Also, I like the Ben Affleck movie.
All right, we're going to move on from whatever that mess was. And we're going to actually talk about the real match. So, the match between Howard and Macuga, I actually thought was a very entertaining match. Not just because Macuga is a crazy person, but because it actually ended up being a very good match, and it wasn't super high scoring. But I will say that Stacy Howard knows how to play this game. She's very strategic about how she plays, and when she makes decisions in the game, they are purposeful. I mean, she's very smart about how she plays the game and how she strategizes, and I think that's very interesting. But we are going to talk about the match. I would like to make a point of saying that we focused quite heavily last summit about predicting what pants Josh Macuga was going to wear in this match. And none of us were right. Not a damn one of us. I think someone said the American flag pants. No, that's what he was wearing in the last match. No one was close, basically. And I believe Malcolm, I think, said something like he wasn't going to wear crazy pants or something, or that he didn't wear crazy pants. I would just like to say that you were proven so wrong, those pants. They were something else. So I'm glad that we focused a lot on his pants, because they were the real stars of the Schmoedown. I'm just saying. They were pretty cool. those were some pretty cool bands. All right, so we're gonna move on to the actual match. So, Malcolm, what were your thoughts on the match between Stacy Howard and Josh Macuga's pants?
This match was super entertaining. It's like, I mean, it was what I expected with the Macuga match. It's like I didn't expect something that was going to be higher scoring and all that, because like Macuga, we know what Macuga knows. We know what he doesn't know really. It's like, but I mean, with Stacy and the opponent's choice giving him dance movies, he knows how, like, she knows how dance movies affect a lot of people. And to be honest, I actually thought Macuga, they're the kind of movies Macuga might have actually had a chance at, to be sure. I mean, he always dances around them, but those post-match interviews, though, is like big. They were just crazy, like especially Macuga's. I think Jen was having a hard time with that. Where it was like, oh, just run over here and let him do his thing.
Yeah, the post-match interviews for both teams were some of the best we've ever had for many different reasons. Stacy's, because hers was actually very put together, and like Jay was really on it with his commentary, and she was really on it with calling people out. And I love that she's calling out Rachel Cushing again, because geez, that is a big call out. And then Josh's was just, I mean, we got Alex. Alex is a great friend of the Take 3 channel, and he's a lovely human being, and he is perfect, and I love him. So he was on the Schmoedown. I'm just like, yay, Alex. Okay, sorry, now we're done. But it was a cool scene. It was hilarious, and you know, he just the epitome of what Josh is. So. Mike, what were your thoughts on the Stacy match against Josh Macuga?
The entrances were entertaining as usual. Stacy coming out in the Clueless outfit, and then Macuga using that during the match after the first question, grabbing her phone just to say that he got a question right. That's what I love about Macuga, though, is win or lose. If he's behind, if he's above, he will always be entertaining. And when he got dance categories, he just was laughing at every single question because he knew he had no clue what any of the answers could be or would be, but he wanted to make it as entertaining as possible. And the post-match, man, him making Jen leave because he tried to get her to say wild berries. He had to whisper it in her ear, and she ends up almost spitting out her drink and just decides to walk out. She can't deal with it. I just love any Macuga match because he makes it entertaining, and Stacy came to play, and she deserved that win the way that she played.
Definitely. And last but not least, Matt, I like you going last for some reason because I feel like you always bring up whatever we forget, which is usually a lot. So please fill in the gaps of what we missed for this match between Josh Macuga and Stacy Howard.
So the gaps we have missed is first, Kurt Russell on the wheel. No Kurt Russell chosen. Just, broken inside. There was this, there was a light, and then it was shut. But then Macuga made fun of Mike's hair, and, I had a good laugh at that. This was a hilarious match, I think. Stacy really came to play, and Macuga continues to show how passionate he is about the Schmoedown in the best way possible, because just from the start, from the inner, from the pre-match smack talk, he already knew that people are going to be freaking out that Elliot Dewberry isn't there, and he was like, you know what? Sometimes Wildberries, we just do stuff on our own. Round 2 was Macuga had a category that he really didn't know, and I love you, Malcolm, but just because you play sports doesn't mean you know sports movies. Just the point there. And then Stacy having the bad luck of when you get a category, you spin away from it. to hit the same category. But then round 3, Macuga's a long game, man. Round 3, sometimes Cougar's favorite. I think we're finally seeing the Macuga magic as it's kind of been used. I just think the days of a Tom Dagnino match where he's pretty much down the entire game, but then the third round he's able to pull out the win is just it's not there, sadly. But overall, a hilarious match. I mean, the post-match interviews. I mean, the Viper squad they're killing it with calling people out and just and then Macuga, just the unpredictability of, at first you think he's like really, really annoyed that he got called a joke. Then he leaves, grabs the Collider stand, and just Alex comes in with the shirt, and it's just I love how he just assumed. Now, I immediately, when I'm watching this match, I go, when he goes, Jen, what do I say? I was immediately in my head, go, Wildberries. And Jen, she's my favorite of the interviewers, and I love how she was just like, she would just walk off, and she just couldn't take Macuga. She's, nope, she walks off, and just, honestly, I don't care if Macuga's record from now on is like, it's like 8 and like 52. Keep giving this guy singles matches, because one, he promotes the hell out of T-Public. I'm pretty certain people before, I remember when the Schmoedown first started making t-shirts, people would be like, okay, which website do I use? Now I think it's like T-Public. Everyone just knows it's T-Public. I think we need to have, when the live event is done, I think we just need a promo of the Wildberries selling T-Public. We used to have Arnold do it, but now let's have Wildberries do it. You guys can use our footage where we literally had an impromptu commercial for T-Public and the Wildberry shirts. I'm just rambling because this is the only bit of joy that I was brought this week, at all. So, yeah. Wildberries! Also Team Action, but Wildberries.
I think that's a great idea. Sponsor T-Public. I think that your true spokesperson is Josh Macuga, and you can reach out to him. You can find him on Twitter at
Josh Macuga. You'll also find him on the Josh Macuga Show. Episodes drop every other Wednesday of the month, guys. The Josh Macuga Show. You find that on YouTube at the Josh Macuga Show.
And this has been the Josh Macuga promotional hour.
He always asked me to promote it, and I've never done it on the show. I had a platform, and I'm watching this week, and I'm going,
you know who else had a platform? Josh Macuga. Back to the match. So the other thing I do want to mention is that MF5 continues to just be fire on the table. And you know what? I think every single time she's been on the table, she has brought a different attitude. She's brought something different to how she is commentating. And this one, man, she was sassy. She was just calling people out. She called out Jay multiple times. She was calling out Stacy. She called out Josh. She did not hold back. And this was definitely a different MF5 than we've ever seen at the table. And I love that every single time she comes up, she brings something new, and she's always evolving how she's commentating these matches. I think she's doing a great job. I look forward to seeing what she does the next time, because I honestly can't even think about what else she could bring to this outside of what she's already done. And I do want to say, no, what were you going to say?
Honestly, I think my favorite moment of this entire match was just she made some comment about Macuga, and Macuga just goes, I don't like that tone. I think it was about Stacy's leader. So Macuga's like, I don't really like that tone.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty great. I do also really want to say congratulations to Stacy Howard. She played a great game. Honestly, I wish she had landed on Kurt Russell just so that she could have shown up Josh talking a big game about, land on Kurt Russell. Like, she wouldn't know any of the answers. And I just want her to land on one of those categories one day and completely own it, because she does know those. I mean, she grew up, we had an interview with her before, and she had mentioned, like, I grew up with a lot of boys. I have a lot of brothers. We watched a lot of those movies growing up, and I know them pretty well. So one day she's going to surprise everybody, and I cannot wait. So that's our recap of the matches for this week. We're going to move on. There's not a lot of news next week. Obviously, the big news of next week is that it is the live match. So this is, going to be between the Shire Wolves and Team Action, who no longer are facing a potential split. And also, the big Star Wars match. These things are going to be awesome. I wish I was going, but I just want to get everyone's take on the live match. I don't think any of us are going either. I don't know about Mike, but I know the rest of us aren't going. But just, give your take on the live match, how excited you are about it. Let's hype it a little bit. Let's start with Matt. What do you want to see coming out of this live event this time around?
Okay, there's a couple of things I want to see. The first thing is, of course, I want to see Action win. For as much as I like the Shire Wolves, they're a great team, I want to see Action get the title match. That'd be freaking great. When it comes to the Star Wars match, I'm sort of in between, because I would like to see Ken win and go after Whitwer, but I feel like I don't want the Star Wars belt to literally just go between Whitwer and Ken. So to see Scrimshaw or Damon come out with the win and get someone else in there, I would kind of like. I love Ken. I would love to see him, of course, play Sam again, but maybe someone else hold the belt. But the real thing I want to see, all you fans who went to the last event, you were great. We didn't spoil it for all us fans who couldn't make it out there. So Harloff has said there's a lot of announcements and things he's dropping there. So if you could just be cool and not spoil them for all of us, that would be amazing. Thank you. Just remember, I didn't spoil free for all of you.
Perfect. All right. So, Malcolm, what are you hyped about for this live event, and what do you kind of want to see come out of it?
Yeah, I do kind of feel like with the Styles match, I'm kind of scared that it is going to be Ken that wins. But anything can happen, really. The questions may not go in his favour, but the one I'm really looking forward to is Team Action versus the Shire Wolves. The Shire Wolves are a great team. I do not see Team Action beat in the middle. Even if they win, there's no way that they're getting past above the line to take the belts from them. That's for sure.
And the Patriots couldn't beat top 10.
I have no comment. All right. So, last but not least, what do you want to see come out of this live event this time around?
100%. I want to see Team Action dominate, and they are going to dominate. There's no question. They're going to go in there. They're going to win. They're going to go on for the title match, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to be supporting them 100%. Matt, I'm being there for you too, man.
Yes.
Rooting for Team Action all the way.
You can be my wingman anytime, Mike.
Dude, is this the beginning of a bromance?
Was that you guys? All right, so I beg to differ about Team Action. Shire Wolves are going to just consume them whole. And, correct. I said that out loud. It sounded better.
Well, because they're wolves.
They're wolves. But I have all the faith in the world of my two girls. And you know what? They have both come out and they had their battle matches against Sam, and they showed up in those matches. So I feel like even though they're both coming off of some recent losses in singles, they were very strong losses, and their team game has been ridiculous. So the Shire Wolves, I just cannot wait to watch them just kick Team Action around the stage. A Star Wars match, I would love it if Alex Damon won. I got to watch him sing karaoke at the Spectacular, and it was fantastic. So anyone who will sing karaoke in front of a crowd of random strangers in the middle of Burbank, California, I think should win the Schmoedown. So that was great, and I hope you do well in the Schmoedown, Alex. And last but not least, I would like to see something outside of the matches happen, whether it be maybe we find out who the Horsemen are going to be, something kind of like let's get some like stage showmanship going on, because like the Star Wars match is going to be good. Ken's going to kind of bring it, but I mean, Scrimshaw, he's a comedian, so he's going to also bring his own flavor. And Alex, obviously, like I said, has some background in performing as well, even if it's just karaoke. I don't know what else he does for performing, but he does karaoke very well. So I feel like they can get the showmanship levels up there. Team Action, of course, can do that as well. But I would like to see something outside of the matches that can kind of really draw this thing and make it something just, you know, ridiculously awesome, because that's what the Schmoedown is about. So I'd love to see that, honestly. Please put us out of our misery. We want to know who these horsemen are, or women, horse people. We would like to know who they are. But that's our speculations about the live match. And then next week, so we have the Patreon match coming to regular Schmoedown TV on Friday. Janine the Machine versus Emma Fyfe. Obviously, there was a lot of sass going on between Emma and the Viper Squad, and this match sounds like it's going to be killer. Obviously, we're reactors, so we don't watch it on Patreon even if we pay for it. But I cannot wait for this thing. I'm so torn on this. I do have Janine winning, but that's just because I just feel like I root for the faces all the time. And, you know, one of these days I'm just going to say a heel's going to win. And they might. So that's my take on it. Mike, who do you think is going to win this match between Janine and Emma Fyfe?
It's a difficult one. But I guess I do have to agree with you. I think Janine's going to take the win on this one, even though I think it'll be a close match. It might even go up to the final point, but I think she's going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it will depend entirely on what categories come up in this match. Malcolm, who do you think is going to win the match between Janine and Emma?
Yeah, this is a tough one to call. I mean, it's whichever. It's going to be a really close match, but I'm going to go with Emma because like I'm Fife Club for life. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very torn because I'm Fife Club all the way. They're a great faction, but I do feel like I always root for the same people. So I'm just trying to like spread it out. And Janine's a good friend, so I also kind of want to make sure that I'm supporting my friends. Matt, who do you have between these two lovely ladies?
Yes, Janine is a friend. She's a fellow admin of the MTS page. She's also an Action fan. I think she made one of their t-shirts, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm just going to go Emma just because Janine's only had the one match so far, whereas Emma, we've seen, she's done really good in Intergeekdom. She won the Manager's Bowl, so I know that she's a pretty well-rounded player. So I'll just get the slight... It's really just that problem of when you have a competitor who we've seen a lot of, and then a competitor we've only seen one match from, because you never know if the one match is a fluke. If it's not saying it's, I think it's going to be like a really close match. Like I think it might be like a last question, like need the 5-pointer type match. But yeah, I'll give the slight edge to Emma. Sorry, Janine, I'm probably not going to be an admin after this.
Good news. Janine doesn't run that page, so you should be fine. So Tuesday's match is actually one of the Intergeekdom qualifiers. We have Hector Navarro versus Adam Lavich. Did I do enough with that?
Lavich.
But these guys are crazy. You've got Hector Navarro, and they both have a lot of history together. Obviously, he used to have the belts. Navarro did. And then you have Lavich, who basically has been the bridesmaid of the Intergeekdom tournament. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. I cannot wait for this match. I do think that Lavich has more to prove because he has gotten second place in so many freaking matches. And I feel like he's fed up with being the runner-up and that he's going to bring this match home. Also, Navarro's a little more rusty just because he hasn't played in... It feels like he hasn't played in the last time he played was Spectacular. In Spectacular. So, It's been a while, I feel like. So maybe he'll be a little rusty. But I'd like to get everyone's take on this. Mike, who do you have winning between Navarro and Lavich?
I think Lavich has a lot to prove, but I don't think it'll be enough to push him to win against Navarro. I have Navarro taking this.
All right. I mean, it literally could go either way. Navarro's a crazy competitor. I'm basing this solely on Lavich's drive to not get second place in another match. Matt, who do you think is going to win this match?
Oh my god, I'm going second and not last. This is weird. Give me a second here. Wow, oh my god. I don't know what gaps that Kristen and Malcolm are going to leave. I have to just preemptively imagine it. Okay, a reference to Navarro. Let's see, what else would they probably say? Here I talked about the second. Glasses? They both wear glasses. Okay, that might be a gap in my... Okay, I'm sorry. Oh god, guys, I'm failing you.
Can you just give us an answer?
Who do you think is going to win?
I think it's going to be Adam. I think Hector has ring rust. I think we even kind of saw that in his match against Inman, considering he hadn't played since Collision. And then that match happened. I think also you have Adam. He doesn't want to be the star of 27 Dresses anymore. He wants to,
That's a good reference.
He wants to finally be the one.
He doesn't want to be Katherine Heigl anymore.
No one wants to be Katherine Heigl.
He wants to be Sandra Bullock. He wants to be Sandra Bullock.
Everyone wants to be Sandra Bullock. I want to be Sandra Bullock.
Everyone loves Sandra Bullock.
Movie?
Malcolm, do you also want to be Sandra Bullock? But also, who do you think is going to win this match?
Yeah, I don't want to be Sandra Bullock, but
what?
How dare you?
But Navarro will not win. And
Whoa! That's right. He was like, Navarro, I'm gonna win. What?
But yeah, I think Adam will win because he was really impressive in that 5 where he only had the unfortunate luck of running into a Hobbit question he had that required about multiple answers and he could easily pull it out. And I mean, it's just going to be fun seeing both former teammates going at each other with pitchforks and knives. Maybe not with pitchforks and knives.
Malcolm is pitching a very different Schmoedown than what we've seen thus far. But I do think that whatever this match brings, it will be interesting. I don't think there will be a lot of tension between them. I think they'll be when Macuga played what's his name, Nick Scarpino. They'll just be like, "Hey, bro, what's up? Let's play a game together." It should be fun. I like those kinds of matches every once in a while. And last but not least, Friday's actual match. So obviously we're getting the Patreon match on Friday, but usually that's the undercard. What the heck is Friday's match going to be? Obviously, we're taping this and it's not been announced yet, and so we're a little curious about what it could be. We're going to speculate just real quick. What match do you think we're getting? Matt, what is it? What's happening?
Kurt Russell. It's obvious. Say it all the time. Kurt Russell just hangs out at Clash Studios and sits in the back, and he's waiting for his time. It's Kurt Russell versus Bruce Campbell. Yeah, it's happening. Be ready. It's gonna be amazing.
I don't think that's happening, but weirder things have happened. We have got Bruce Campbell on the show. Mike, Why? Why don't we know what this match is yet? You don't have to answer that. What do you think the match is going to be?
You know, I do want to agree with Matt. I would have loved to see Kurt Russell versus Bruce Campbell, but I do think it is going to be a celebrity match. Just not too sure which celebrities it might be. But 100% agree, Kurt Russell versus Bruce Campbell, please make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, they have kind of teased that there is going to be a celebrity match coming up. I am insanely curious as to what this match is going to be, because I have no idea, honestly. Malcolm, we're going to get your predictions on what you think Friday's match is going to be right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bruce Campbell doesn't have anything else to do now that Ash vs. the Evil Dead has been cancelled. But...
Whoa!
Harsh.
Wow.
Harsh.
Man. Way to
Malcolm is like in rare form today.
What did Bruce Campbell ever do to you?
Don't talk about my dog's namesake like that, okay? Okay. When he grows into his chainsaw arm, he's going to be really terrifying.
But in all seriousness, I think that the celebrity match possibly could be Friday. I don't know, but I think it's going to have something to do with the movie that they showed the trailer for. Is like I can't remember who's in it. I think it's the daughter of Jean-Claude Van Damme is in it. But yeah.
Oh, is it Van Damme? Is she bringing her dad? I'd be totally cool with that.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, I think that's probably the best guess because I mean, they did kind of like sponsor the show the other day. I think that's a fair guess to have. What do I want it to be? I would like for it to be Kevin Smith finally, or I would like for it to be the match that they've been trying to get for ages and ages and have it be Kevin Hart versus The Rock. Do I think either of those are a possibility? Absolutely not. But I want them to happen. So I'm speculating that it's going to be one of those two matches. Who the heck Kevin Smith is actually going to play? I don't care. He's going to play Mark Bernardin. I mean, really, come on. Who the heck cares who he plays? Just get him on the show. So that's my speculation for the match. We do have to do our fantasy updates, so we're going to throw it over to whoever the heck, Vinny, Guy, whatever, whoever he is. We're going to make him do it, I guess. Who's winning, Vinny?
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Vinny here with your fantasy update. Matt's been crying like a little baby for the last couple of days, so that sucked. But you're here for the update. So in first place we got still Super Epic X team with 355 points. Then we got in second place Team Quaggies with 319 points. Okay, 319. Then we got in third place Immortan Gens Schmoeboys with 317 points. Them Schmoeboys. Yeah, okay. In fourth place we got the Penguins Chris Cock with 232 points. Okay. Just okay. In fifth place we got Tiny Kids with 219 points. Tiny Kids. I called the guy that once in a bar. In sixth place, we got Matt the Loser Cryer over there with the Oi Alliance with only 148 points. But that ain't as bad as that movie Yakuza guy. I don't even know who this guy is. And he's got only 140 points. So that's it. No one's trading because why would anyone trade? Also, damn you, Kalinowski. If that's your name, I think that's your name. Matt's been crying. He has shut up, okay? You can follow me, Vinny, at VinnyStallone76 on Twitter. Okay, get out of here.
All right, so that was the fantasy update. Congratulations, Abe, for being in first place. Probably still. I don't watch our videos before they get filmed. We film before all this. We're professionals. All right. Yeah, Abe's probably still in first place.
I am.
Just blame it on Vinny not showing up on time.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to move on. And that's actually the last segment we have. So we're just going to figure out where you can find all of our lovely panel on the internet. Mike, our special guest of the week, where can we find you if we so desire?
You can find me on the Worldwide Movie Games Network competing in movie trivia and on Twitter at MikeHamley1987. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Yeah. Lovely to have you as always. Matt Kearns, where can we find you crying about your betrayal?
You can find me broken and in denial on Twitter at Kearns_Matthew. You can also find me on YouTube at MattMovie611. You can also find me right here hosting Second Look. By the time this video is up, the newest episode of Second Look on the Phantom Menace should be up. You can also find me on the Take 3 group, on the MTS group, on Schmoedown, on Cal the Schmoedog fan page, on the Yodi Alliance, on Action Movie Anatomy, on Team Action, on the Wit Warriors, on the Viper Squad. And you'll also find me on Smithtown High School West 2015 yearbook group. I'm still a part of that for some reason. Just if you're there, you know.
All right. You really are going to make that longer every single week. It's going to be an interesting. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. You signing off in like a month from now. Malcolm, is your sign off as bad as Matt's?
You can find me on various Take 3 things, and I'll have a new show starting at some stage. You can find me on my own personal YouTube channel, Malcolm's Midwest Media, and competing on worldwide movie games as well and various matches.
Perfect. And as always, you can find me Smith_K10, the number, not the word, on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust. You can also find me right here doing exactly what I'm doing right now, hosting the summit every week, most likely on Mondays, most likely, and also on various other Take 3 things and reactions and all over the place. And you can find him being cute pretty much all the time. He's like that all the time, just all the time. And we also want to thank our beautiful, beautiful editor, Abe, for being a beautiful soul. And that's all we got for the summit. So thanks, guys. We hope that you all had a good time. And we all really did as well. We appreciate you watching. And this has been your really weird kind of NPR-ish sign-off for the summit this week. We hope that you all take care.
Kalinowski, you broke me. I hope you're happy.
I need to buy bigger underwear.
What?